It's Saturday and it's just after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've had to go in and change and take off my polo neck jumper and my thick boots, put on something summery because the sun has come out and it's gorgeous. I am so very pleased to see the sunshine. So I haven't wasted the opportunity to get outside, and I've done lots and lots of little jobs this morning. I've rejiggled the pond liner for the ducks. I've lifted it up, moved the logs around underneath it. I better explain. The duck pond is nothing more glamorous than some logs laid on the floor and a pond liner laid over the logs, across the floor, back up over the logs, because eventually, and hopefully this summer, we'll dig out a proper pond for them. But in the meantime, they've got something. But on one side of it, there were two quite big tears, and I don't know whether that was from duck claws or just from the very old butyl liner cracking in the cold, or who knows. Anyway, had a couple of holes in it, which meant that all the time we'd fill it up and it would just drain out really quickly. So I've now moved the logs in to where those holes are now over the top of the logs. I've filled up the pond again and they are so pleased. So I've done that, and then I went and had a look on my planning chart for these raised beds, and so at the end over here there's artichokes, and then at the moment there's purple sprouting broccoli, which is in full flow at the moment. I desperately need to harvest some of that and eat it for lunch or supper. And then some onions, and then the bed behind me is due to be brassicas, and on my chart it says January King and Swede. Actually, it doesn't matter what it is as long as it's one of the low growing cabbages, and definitely some Swede, because I always forget to plant it. 2 years in a row I've been too late planting it, and they just haven't grown big enough, so I might get those in very soon. And the reason I want them to be low growing cabbages is that in previous years I've put cabbages on the outside rows, and there's something like purple sprouting broccoli down the middle, but that just gets so tall that it hits the top of the framework that I've built, and the leaves are touching the netting, and then the butterflies and moths can lay their eggs through the netting onto the leaves. So this year I thought I'd get smart and do a low frame with the lower cabbages in it. I've put in the hoops, and I've put in canes to support them, because hoops will just fall over in the wind here, so canes as deep into the ground as I can get them to go, and then attach the hoops to them, and then some netting's gone over the top. So that is now ready for the low growing cabbages. So it could be Swede, it could be January King or Savoy. Put red cabbage in there, whatever's ready first will go in there. I'm very pleased. It feels very nice to have got that prepared. The bed that's on the other side of the pathway to that low cabbage tunnel is my broad bean bed, and I planted broad beans in there in autumn, and up they came, and they did really well. They got to about 4 or 5 inches high, and they survived the very cold weather. They could survive the snow, and they'd had a cover over them, so they were a little bit protected from the wind, from the snow actually landing on them, and also from the frost. Not total protection, but a bit. Anyway, when the rain arrived last week with a vengeance, and so did the slugs, and they have decimated this bed. There is one little sad stalk of broad bean left, with no leaves on it. So all those months worth of growing just disappeared in a week. But it's not the end of the world, because I've got 3 trays of broad beans already growing in the greenhouse. So I'm going to bring them out. I'm also going to bring out lots and lots of slug traps. So I'm going to make bottles with beer in them that the slugs can crawl into and then can't crawl out. And I'll put those in the corners and around the edges, and hopefully that will That will deter enough slugs, or it will attract enough slugs into the trap that they don't get as far as the beans and eat all the beans again. It's quite disheartening really, but you know, I know for next year now. I think I'm going to get those beer traps on the go before I actually plant the beans in. I was hoping that the ducks would eat a goodly number of slugs this year, and I suspect they have already. But on a place this size with so much decomposing vegetation, wood chips and piles of stuff that we leave to rot for wildlife to live in, there inevitably are going to be thousands and thousands of slugs. Just wish they'd go and eat the rotting vegetation, not my broad beans. It really is so nice just to be out in the fresh air and it to be warm, and the chickens are loving it. They're having a great time. A little bit they're kind of going, oh, what's that, because they haven't seen the sunshine quite as lovely as this for a few weeks now. Yeah, they're really enjoying themselves. So I'm going to go and spend a bit of time watching the chickens, enjoying the sunshine. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, share it on social media, tell a friend and invite them to come and explore some of my videos. And so, wherever you are in the world and whatever you've got planned for today, I hope it's a good one. And I also hope you'll join me again tomorrow. And you, yes.